Hello and welcome to Squib TV. I'm Jack Shepherd. This is James Cartwright, and we are going to talk about our predictions from the start of the season. So we'll start with Sam. In his AFC wildcard round, he had Chiefs, Bills, Jaguars, Raiders.
Chiefs, Bills, Jaguars, Raiders. Apart from Raiders and... Apart from the Raiders, that's
Raiders.
accurate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, apart from obviously the matchups, but he's got everyone pretty much spot on there.
Yeah, I mean this is halfway through the season. Before the season, I'm sure he would have had some crazy teams in there. But yeah, AFC wildcard fine. NFC wildcard, Vikes, Panthers, Cowboys versus Saints.
Well, the Cowboys didn't make it, and we'll get on to my predictions eventually, but this team fell off the cliff halfway through the season. What happened? I mean, Elliott wasn't in the right frame of mind. Dak Prescott seemed to be a one-season wonder. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, rookie wonder as well.
Rookie wonder. I mean, can this Cowboys team come back next season? Des Bryant not coming up with the catches. I think Sean Lee was missing from the defence midway through the season. This was a failure of a season for the Cowboys, and I don't know whether they need rooting out next season or just go again with the same set of players.
They'll have Zeke back, and they had an all-line injury. I forget his jaw or something. He'll be back. But the Cowboys didn't look anything special. They did look special in the first half of the season. Without Zeke, they
looked special one game, and that was against the Broncos. And we were a bit blinkered-eyed with the Broncos because we thought they were a decent side. An awful side for the rest of the season, one of the worst in the NFL. So
yeah, we probably overestimated the Cowboys.
we definitely did.
So
I
Sam,
certainly did.
moving on.
Yes.
He had the Pats and the Jags, and the Steelers and the Chiefs in his AFC conference games.
Well, advanced that Pats Jags game on another round, and that's accurate. I think we were both, well, me and Sam, when he was here, were waxing lyrical about this Jaguars side, and they've delivered this season. I've got to say, they've exceeded my expectations, even more so than I thought. Potentially a side that weren't going to make the playoffs, but Leonard Fournette proved to be the rookie that people wanted him to be, the guy who was drafted to be. Blake Bortles came hot when it mattered. Okay, he didn't in the end, ultimately, because if he's a genuine elite QB, even if he has the ability of, say, Joe Flacco, they close out that game against the Patriots yesterday evening.
Sam was hot on the Chiefs all season. They didn't go as far as he predicted.
The Chiefs were a great prediction maybe 6 weeks into the season. I was really liking the performances coming from Alex Smith, but there was always that niggling thought in your mind that he will struggle eventually, and he did. Just because he's not elite, I'm going to say. But I put out there, Alex Smith is not elite. I have no idea how he was a first round pick.
So NFC, Sam had the Eagles playing the Panthers. Panthers going that far, and the Rams versus the Cowboys. Boys made it through another round.
Christ. Right, Panthers. I have to feel disappointed in the Panthers. That game against the Saints, I would have had them winning that. I had the Panthers going on. Potentially the championship game when I was coming on to the predictions just when the playoffs began, because they were coming hot. But then, I don't know. Defensively, they fell off the cliff, and Cam Newton needs to get his head out of his arse and start performing well.
Cam Newton, as soon as his side goes down, as soon as his receivers didn't catch one ball, and he let that affect him far too much for a Super Bowl quarterback, and that let them down more than any receiver on the team.
Yeah, play by play, but that catch, I can't remember who it was, that catch in that Saints game needed to be made, and that's a completely different game if it goes that way.
It was Ted Ginn who probably took the wind out of the sails of the Panthers.
Was awful for the Panthers in terms of, alright, kick returning, fine. Actually catching, awful. But maybe you put that down to the QB and his style of throw.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's catching the ball from a much better QB who knows how to throw the football. So I don't know all the ins and outs of football from in terms of a logical point of view, but maybe that's something to look into.
AFC Championship game, Sam had the Jaguars versus the Steelers. He got the wrong ones there.
He did. So he was obviously big on these Jaguars. We were both big on them. And he obviously saw them coming up with an upset in that divisional round, which they did at the Steelers. We'll go on to that a bit in another video, but yeah, not a bad prediction. I mean, getting the Jaguars in there.
Yeah.
The Steelers, I think I would have fully expected us to be there. It's disappointing that they didn't.
Yeah, and NFC Rams versus Eagles. Start of the season, the Rams did look, well, midway through the season,
I would say
the
the
Rams
Rams weren't looking. They weren't the side you were going to be even put in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. But then, middle of the season, they were possibly the hottest team in the NFL. They were. Everything was going right for them. And the Eagles, that was a sort of prediction then. You might have maybe thought differently when Carson went out injured, but they managed to rally and get themselves there with 2 good home victories.
So Sam ended up with the Steelers versus the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Well, I would have loved to see that, but unfortunately both could say tanked in the playoffs in their first game.
Well, you know, the Rams, Sean McVay.
I must admit I didn't see that game. Rams Falcons.
Yeah, it's just a young team.
Was it too big of a stage?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, but the Steelers, obviously, everyone expected them to do better than they did. Coming on to your predictions here, James.
Okay.
So AFC wildcard, we have Chiefs against the Ravens, Jags against the Titans.
Well, the Titans made the playoffs, and the Jags made the playoffs. All 3 bar the Ravens made the playoffs. The Ravens just didn't come up with that big win, maybe week 16, 17. So I was looking at the schedule at that particular time and went, oh well, that's a favourable schedule for the Ravens. I think they're going to make the playoffs. And they didn't. And I'm going to honestly say this now. As a Steelers fan, I'm quite sad to see the Ravens not doing well anymore. I really enjoyed that rivalry. It was always a really good game. But I don't know, I don't feel challenged by this side anymore. Big moves in the off-season need to come off.
Joe Flacco is the only quarterback in the AFC to make the Super Bowl that wasn't Tom Brady, a Manning, or Big Ben.
Impressive.
So your NFC wildcard, Eagles versus the Lions, and the Rams versus the Cowboys.
Okay, 2 of them sides.
Are you
Didn't
going
make the playoffs.
Defend why you put the Lions there?
I'll defend why I put the Lions there. We are talking about a division where Aaron Rodgers went out injured. Best player at the Packers, maybe the only player who completes that side. So there's potential wins against the Packers, which they did. They won a game against the Packers. I remember this. And they had Case Keenum for the Vikings. Before the start of the season, would you think Case Keenum would be in the NFC Championship?
No.
He was a poor quarterback at the Rams. He wasn't a poor quarterback. That's harsh on him. I like the guy. I like the cut of his jibe. Personally, he's a second-string quarterback. That's what he is. So you're looking at Matt Stafford coming to the best form of his life and his career, highest earning player in the NFL at that particular time, or at least at one point before the start of the season. And you're telling me you can't get performances against these sides? You're telling me you can't drag this Lions side into the playoffs? Poor coaching. Poor defensive abilities from the Lions there. A letdown. A complete letdown.
Matt Stafford can't carry the Lions on his own.
He practically was for the first half of the season. 4th quarter comebacks on a week-to-week basis. I don't know, I just expect more from this side. That NFC North was there for the taking for a good quarterback. And he didn't.
Yeah, the Lions, I didn't think they looked playoff worthy all season.
I didn't personally think at that time they looked playoff worthy, but I thought with these injuries to them quarterbacks, Matt Stafford can step up and get this job done in the second half of the season, and obviously it hasn't come off.
Well, you didn't have that much faith in them because they didn't make it through to the next round in your predictions. You had the Saints against the Cowboys and the Seahawks against the Eagles.
Well, again, the Seahawks, what can we say? They just didn't deliver again. And I think the run for this Seahawks team is over. Would you agree?
Forever.
In terms of, the whole Pete Carroll organisation, the whole Legion of Boom, everything about them is that window's closed.
As long as they've got Russell Wilson, they've got a shot.
Can't carry the side, as he said about Matt Stafford.
No, that's true. Pete Carroll is good though. He's old, but he's still.
Pete Carroll, oldest coach in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely. Right, Steelers, Chiefs, Pats, Jags.
I said that.
Yeah, of course you said that. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, I was accurate with Patriots. Trying to move it on around. Steelers, Chiefs. Well, what happened to the Chiefs? They bottled it. They bottled it in the season, and then they bottled it in that game.
Yep.
Against the Titans.
So next up, you had the Pats against the Steelers.
Well, that was the game everyone thought it was going to be.
Yeah, everyone thought.
I know you didn't think that, but everyone who watches NFL thought the Patriots and the Steelers were going to meet again. It didn't matter when it happened. It was going to happen week 14, and that was going to be the game where home field advantage was decided, and then the AFC Championship game was going to be Patriots Steelers again. The Steelers believed that, and that was probably the downfall. The Steelers believed all they had to do was turn up, and they were going to be in the AFC Championship game. And they were made to look like mugs.
I mean, as you'll see in a later video, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are rotten to the core, and I don't think anything's a given. Even though they think it's a given, it's not a given.
Right, okay.
So next game you had Eagles-Cowboys.
We've already discussed the Cowboys. Letdowns. Eagles, I didn't think they'd make it under Foles, but amazing scenes. Well done to them in the Super Bowl. And at least I got one side in the AFC Championship game.
You didn't get them going through the Super Bowl, did you?
Well, no, because I thought,
For clarification, James predicted Patriots.
Okay.
Accurate.
Yeah, accurate, yeah.
Against-
That's not a good prediction, though.
Against the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. This was in week 8.
Right, hear me out. The Cowboys should have picked it up. Should have done a lot better than they did. They had the weapons. Last season they had the weapons. They were a year older, stronger, wiser. And then they just fell off the cliff. Eagles, flashing headlights. Are we better than we think we are? Are we actually this grand new franchise? Are we this side that are actually good enough to make the Super Bowl? Oh no, let's crap our pants in typical Eagles fashion and fail to even make the playoffs. But no, fair play to this Eagles side. They're there, and well done to them, and I hope they freaking smash the Patriots.
That sounds more like the Cowboys than the Eagles. The Eagles have won. No, the Cowboys have won 2 playoff games since 1997.
Ooh, harsh on the Cowboys there.
That's a fact.
Harsh.
So I don't know how you can say the team
I'm
who made the
obviously
2005 Super Bowl would then crap themselves in the playoffs over the 2 wins in 20 years Dallas Cowboys who you had going to the Super Bowl. Even with Dak Prescott.
Well, never mind then. Can't get everything right, can we?
Right. So we'll get on to the correct predictions now, which were mine.
Yes, songs.
I had the Jaguars against the Raiders. We'll skip over that one. Bills Chiefs. The Bills did make the playoffs, as I predicted early on.
Okay.
Saints Vikings and Boys Steelers. Not Steelers. That's in the wrong column.
It isn't the wrong column.
I don't know who I had the boys playing.
This man can do Super Bowl and NFL playoff predictions, but can't seem to put the sides in the
I've wrote
correct
the wrong team
conferences.
down.
To be fair though, I think we would potentially be making the Super Bowl if we were in that conference. That's my opinion. But there you go.
I had the Cowboys in the playoffs, so they must have looked pretty good for me to put them in there because I hate the Cowboys. So going through to the divisional rounds, Steelers Jags and Patriots Bills, Eagles Cowboys and Rams Saints. The Rams didn't make it that far, the boys didn't make it that far, the Bills didn't make it that far. So I'm 3 for 3
The
there.
Bills profited on a shite AFC. The Bills just got in there on the fact that nobody wanted to make the playoffs in the AFC. Everyone was like, well, doesn't matter, we'll just let the Patriots steam through
tanking for draft picks
and win the Super Bowl again. And the Steelers were like, maybe we'll try and make a run. Oh no, we're going to crap ourselves with rubbish coaching and just waste Antonio Brown. But we'll go into that in another video.
Yeah. So championship games, I had the Jaguars versus the Patriots. The correct call.
Correct call.
And I had the Eagles playing the Rams. The Rams did shit the bed.
So you got 3 out of 4. Well done.
And then in the Super Bowl, I predicted Patriots versus Eagles.
His optimism. His optimism got him through there. Wasn't your damn predictions, it was just that blind faith in the back of your mind.
No.
Maybe I should have said the Steelers were going to make the Super Bowl and we might have been there. And maybe I believed in my heart of hearts, but I didn't want to tell it any of yous.
I'm sure the Steelers would have watched the video and gone, we'll do it for James off Squib.
Yeah. James Harrison would have stayed there. Would have been, I'm doing it for James Cartwright on Scrub TV. Been it done. I'm going to hit the gym hard, win this SB.
To end this video, I think we should point out Sam's pre-season prediction for the Super Bowl. He had, well, in the championship games, he had Seattle Seahawks versus the New York Giants, and he had the Oakland Raiders playing the Kansas City Chiefs for the Giants and the Chiefs to go through to the Super Bowl. I mean, at least one of those teams made the playoffs at least.
Well, shows the unpredictable nature of the NFL. We love it.
I think it shows how bad those predictions were.
The unpredictable nature of the NFL. When the Patriots in the Super Bowl again? Maybe not.
Who did you predict? You had Patriots, Steelers, and Green Bay, Seattle. This is pre-season.
Yeah, this was pre-season. Let's be honest with that. Okay, we didn't see Aaron Rodgers getting injured, did we?
You were very confident that it was going to be a Pats Steelers AFC Championship game.
That was the game. Everyone thought was going to be the game. Even before the season started. At the end of last season, everyone was like, basically, this is going to be the AFC Championship game again, isn't it?
Why did you change your mind in those 8 weeks from Green Bay, Seattle to Eagles, boys? What on earth did the boys do to make you... Oh, they're much better than the...
Boys. Do you know, I had a good feeling about that boys that particular week. I can't remember the result. Whatever happened to them, I can't remember that far back. But I just felt good about them at that particular time. You don't know why you feel good about sides.
Good enough to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, why not? They were good enough to make it last season, and they were older, wiser, and stronger, as I said.
Yeah.
If somebody said at the beginning of the season, right, who's going to make the Super Bowl, Cowboys or Eagles, how many people would say Cowboys over Eagles? Maybe 7 out of 10 people? I think most people just strongly favoured the Cowboys. At the beginning of the season, I'm just saying at that particular time, I thought they were good enough. But
were these predictions before the JJ trade?
Yes.
Were they?
Yeah, they would have been.
Ah.
I think it was quite late on in the season, wasn't it? Maybe?
Yeah, I think...
post week 10?
It probably was actually the same week. Week 8.
Well, I don't know. I just honestly thought the boys would get themselves together. But I said it was touch and go.
Oh, we have to end now.
Oh, well, never mind then. Rip.
Right, see you next vid.
Are you just going to cut it down?
No, I'm not that bothered.
That was shite, wasn't it?